What is up, ladies and gents? In today's video, we're going to be talking all about XEN and why I think it could make millionaires in 2025. Of course, that means discussing what XEN token is, as well as coming up with a price prediction for the shorter term, so in the next days and weeks, as well as my 2025 price target for XEN. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Of course, if you're a new viewer here, then welcome to the channel. If you do like content like this, hit the like button and subscribe for more. If you are a returning viewer, then welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you all. On top of all of that as well, if you're looking for a decent place to trade XEN, then look no further than the MEX exchange. They have some of the lowest fees on the market. They don't require KYC, and for a limited time, they're giving every new user who signs up $20 to get started. So all you have to do, click in the link in the description down below, fill out your details, literally takes less than a minute, and you can get started straight away. So of course, if you want to make use of that offer and get $20 for free, click in the link in the description down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for your support. Let's get started on this video. So of course, XEN was one of the cryptos that a lot of you had been recommending me cover down in the comments. So of course, I had to check it out for you guys. So of course, after reading a bit about XEN, it definitely looks like quite a unique project. Of course, a lot of you in the comments are recommending me other payment infrastructure cryptos, something similar to XRP, XLM, and things like that. But XEN doesn't really follow that category. It's a bit of a different one with quite a small market cap as well, $24 million. And of course, this little signer just says that CoinMarketCap hasn't verified it, but that's what it's saying. So it is a very small cap crypto. Of course, they use an interesting model, a proof of participation model for their cryptocurrency. And the tokenomics are also quite interesting. Apparently, the tokenomics of XEN are disinflationary. So disinflationary is different from deflationary, which is what most other cryptos have. Basically, deflationary means that the supply actually gets reduced, whether they burn their tokens or some other method to reduce it. The supply gets reduced, and hopefully in the long term, this pushes the price up. But disinflationary is different because it means that the supply is still increasing, but it's increasing less and less. So at the start, it would be increasing a lot. Maybe the market cap doubles every day, for example. And disinflationary would mean that over time, the market cap would double, hopefully in a longer period of time. So it might take 2 days to double, and then 4 days to double, 8 days to double, and so on and so on. So this is what this means. So the supply is still increasing, but just less so. So that's quite unusual for the cryptos that I cover on this channel. And it also says that XEN does not have a cap, but the growing difficulty of generating additional tokens ensures that its tokenomics remain disinflationary. So it gets harder to mint every single time. Of course, XEN, anyone can mint XEN as well. That means that you don't even need to pay for your XEN. You can just mint XEN tokens on Ethereum using their wallets. So that's something to note. Of course, if anyone can explain a bit more to me about how the tokenomics made the price rise, then let me know down in the comments. Of course, I normally cover cryptos that have a deflationary model. So, I'm unsure how I feel about that. But nonetheless, their Twitter looks like it's popping off. They're shipping a lot of new products here. It looks like they've also made Ethereum more deflationary by helping them burn their gas fees. And I think that's pretty bullish. I also saw another tweet as well where they're creating a new DEX altogether. They're adding swaps, they're adding staking and things like that. So that's actually very bullish. I think that's a very good direction to go into for a lot of these cryptos because it generates more fees for them. And if they choose to do so, they can also burn those fees and make it more deflationary, although I don't know if XEN will do that. So that's definitely good. They definitely look like they're hard at work here. So that's really what you want to see from something that you are going to be buying into. So now moving on to the price here. And the chart of XEN, in my opinion, has a lot of potential. And it's a chart that I really like because it looks like it respects supply and resistance levels very, very well. And what I mean by that is when I see these parabolic moves on any chart, I generally tend to draw the Fibonacci levels, because once we see a parabolic moves, we generally tend to see the price respect Fibonacci levels with respects to supports and resistances along the way. Of course, as you can see, if we draw the Fibonacci levels from this first parabolic move, you can see that the peak from the next parabolic move went just above the 1.618 level. As you can see, the price wicked above it, but then obviously after the 1.618 fib, there was a lot of selling pressure. So we know that these Fibonacci levels are important. Just some other examples of how it's used is this 1 fib here being used as a resistance on multiple occasions for the price here. Of course, on its most recent dips, you can see that 0.236 was the support, and then 3.82 was the support here. So first things first, we're obviously monitoring how the price reacts to these levels. At the moment, we're stuck between these two fibs here. So, if we see something where we break above this 0.786 fib, maybe we can expect a move up to that 1 fib there. If we break past 1, then we can expect a move upwards, and so on and so forth. And obviously, in the same way, we can expect to see these fibs used as supports there. So if this 0.618 fib does not hold at, I'm just going to say 1.3 cents there. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say that number properly, but 1.3 cents, then we could see a drop down to 1.17 cents. Of course, again, if that fib doesn't hold, then our next support there is at 1.05 cents. So that's how these fib levels are being used, in my opinion. Of course, I have another use case that I'll get to in a bit, but just looking at this shorter term price movement, what I do believe that we could be seeing here on the price is this sort of setup in the shorter term. So this is my shorter term prediction for you guys. I basically see something where we have this support. Like I say, this was a strong support here at 1.9 cents for XEN. As you can see, it's been tested multiple times. That was exactly the same as the 1 Fibonacci level. And we have this support line that's been tested now 3 times. We had 2 tests in this region and now another test just the other day. And what we could be seeing is this sort of consolidation where the price does something like this in between the support and resistance. Now, of course, this is a triangle. And it's also a right angled triangle, meaning that the breakout to the upside past this horizontal line is more likely, in my opinion. Of course, what we would expect to see then is maybe a few more tests of both support and resistance just to confirm this triangle. And what we want to see is a breakout, a clean breakout from that resistance, and prices heading much higher. We want to see a lot of momentum. So large green candles like this, for example, taking the price well above this resistance line to confirm to us that it's cleared. And of course, that could mean that in the shorter term here on XEN, we could potentially see this price target. And that price target there is 115% trade, taking it all the way to 4.11 cents. Of course, that's really nice as well because it's almost at the same level there as its previous high. So that, in my opinion, would have been a decent resistance anyway, as you can see. So that could potentially be in play, my friends. Of course, as with any triangle, there could also be a breakdown from it. If crypto isn't behaving, for example, and we see a market-wide crash once again, then we could potentially see this as the downwards target from this triangle. Of course, it's a bit dynamic, so if we break out sooner rather than later, you can see that the price target's a little bit lower there. If we break out later, it's a little bit higher. So that there's also a potential for a breakout to the downside as well as the upside. Now, that's my shorter term prediction in here. Of course, that's a potential target there of 4.2 cents on the price, 115% trade from if we break out from this resistance at 1.9 cents. Of course, in the longer term though, what I'm seeing on the chart is something quite magnificent. And if you're bullish here on XEN, this should be pretty good. Of course, whatever you think about XEN and its tokenomics, technical analysis does not consider that. What we consider is the price data that is on the chart. And on the chart, in my opinion, we have this clear resistance on the price. Obviously, as you can see, we've had multiple tests of this resistance, and every single time the price has got rejected quite sharply from this resistance here. So in my opinion, this is a very strong resistance here on XEN. And in the shorter term, a little bit shorter than that resistance there, we've had this support line coming along. As you can see, once again, multiple tests of the support, at least 3 times as well, makes this quite a strong support. And obviously you guys can see that at some point the price will have to do something with regards to that support and resistance. You know, maybe it can bounce up and down a few more times between it, but at some point in 2025 there has to be a breakout from this triangle. And of course there's 2 outcomes from this, and the bullish outcome from this is absolutely nuts, because if this triangle is to be respected, I have 2 general price targets for it. The first price target is this distance here, and of course once again the price target changes from wherever we see the breakout, but let's just say it happens in Q4 of 2025, then we could see a price target on here of 15-ish cents. That's 610% from the breakout. Of course that was my first price target from this triangle, but if we really take the first test of support and resistance, which should be this distance, then that gives us an upper limit on this price here of 66 cents, and that would be a 31x on the price if we broke out in Q4. So that is the price target of this if we do successfully break out to the upside here on XEN. Of course, that's because we could be seeing this triangle pattern in play. This is a consolidation pattern, and once we see a breakout, these are the price targets. Of course, needless to say, these are absolutely huge trades. So along the way, it would not be a bad idea to take some profits, in my opinion, and some levels that we could see some profit taking would be along the Fibonacci levels. Let's just get that back to scale, and as you can see, obviously if we break out of this triangle, I would expect there to be quite a strong resistance at this 2.618 fib. That's because not only is it at the 2.618 fib, this is also quite an important resistance here for the price. As you can see, it's come up to test this fib on multiple occasions. So in my opinion, this fib here at roughly 8.99 cents would be very important. That's obviously close to a psychological level as well, being that 10 cents level. Again, that obviously has 5 zeros in front of it, but I'm just going to call that 10 cents. So that is a big psychological level, in my opinion. That's like burning a zero, you know, it's like 100k Bitcoin burning a zero, that kind of vibe. So that's going to be very, very important in my opinion. Of course, if we can continue going from there, this level here, 14 to 15 cents, very important, since that's the first price target from the triangle. And of course, the 3.618 fib also tells us that we could potentially see an area of resistance at 23 cents there. So those are some levels that I'll be looking out for if we do break from this triangle. What I'm realistically doing at the moment though, since the price is not close to the support and resistance, I'll just be monitoring the chart on the longer term to see, and once the price comes close to support and resistance, like this for example, we want to see what happens there, because if we see a breakdown, then that could mean that we could see quite a lot of bearish action. Again, if we see a very bullish case here for XEN and we get close to that resistance there like this, then that could mean we're about to break out, and that could mean a massive monster trade here on XEN. So that's how I'm using the charts on the longer term. Obviously on the shorter term, like I say, we're seeing that triangle potentially, and we could be seeing a breakout from that triangle to roughly 4.2 cents. And of course, if that does happen, that would also spell a breakout from this larger triangle that I've just shown you on the longer term. So that should trigger off an even larger price pattern if we see that triangle play out from the shorter term. Of course, guys, as for the time frames of XEN hitting these price targets that I've mentioned, of course, in the shorter term, I would expect that to happen within the next few days or weeks in Q1. But for my longer term price targets here that I showed you from the larger triangle, I expect that to be towards Q4 of 2025. And some of the reasons for that is because at the moment, Bitcoin dominance is still very high. We haven't had a true altcoin season yet, so we still need to wait for that to happen. When we get an altcoin season, we'd expect BTC dominance to fall and coins like XEN can then flourish. Of course, on top of that as well, if we look at the total crypto market cap, I do expect that to reach nearer 10 trillion in this bull run. At the moment, it's roughly 3.4 trillion, so it's still got a long way to go. Of course, that means that cryptos like XEN at the very least should do a 3x this bull run if it's going to perform average. So there's a bull case anyway for the whole of crypto and for XEN as a low cap crypto, and this potential triangle that we're seeing throughout the lifetime of the coin. I think it's got a very bullish time in 2025 ahead. So that's all I have to say on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do let me know down in the comments if you're holding XEN and what your personal price targets are for how high you think this coin can go. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in my next video.